Uh, Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Sullivan. I'm one of the programmers here at Film at Lincoln Center. Just welcoming you all to this year's edition of Rendez-Vous with French Cinema, our annual co-presentation with Unifrance. I'm joined today by the director of the film you just saw, Mandibles, the great Quentin Dupieux. Hello, Quentin.
Hello.
Let's just, I guess we'll begin at the beginning, kind of the conception of the film. As with all your films, you're the director, the cinematographer, the editor, and the writer. Let's begin with the writing, the writing process. I'm wondering just sort of how the concept for the film came about, and sort of at what stage, how early you kind of became attracted to the kind of buddy comedy setup. Yeah, I guess.
Okay, basically for me, each project is different and has to be different. So this time for this one, I really wanted to do something positive. I've shot a lot of dead people and dark comedy stuff, and for some reasons, I don't know. I wanted to, to start talking about friendship and positive stuff, but then this idea of a giant fly just came one day, like, I don't know, I would say like 5 years ago, maybe. Mm-hmm. I just had this stupid idea of a guy opening a trunk and discovering a giant fly in a car trunk. But that's it. And then this stupid idea stayed in my mind. And when I started writing this friendship movie, then the fly came back. So I was like, maybe it might be a good idea if it stays, like if it stick in my mind for 5 years, maybe there's something here. Mm. That's, and then, like I said, like my writing process is always different for each movie. This one has been like straight to the point. I wrote it really quickly. I had something really precise in my head, like, like I don't want to say I didn't work, but it was like straight to the point. I didn't search a lot. Everything was there, and which was pretty exciting.
Yeah, but there's also like I think the narrative of the film, it's constantly sort of subverting our expectations of what the film will become. So I'm wondering, did you always have this kind of misdirection in mind while you were writing, or did that just kind of emerge like while you were writing it, just sort of changing your mind about what you wanted it to be?
It's, like for this one, especially this one, I have to say that everything came like it was already written in somewhere in my head. Like, like I didn't think too much. Everything was there, like I said, and I was happy with the first draft. And basically, what you've seen on the screen is very close to my first draft. Like it was like an instant script, and my only goal was to give some positive vibes to the audience.
Yeah,
because like I said, like I've seen, I'm making comedies, obviously, but there's always something dark and always something, strange or whatever. So yes, the fly is strange, but this time I wanted it to be only, like a nice element and not like not scary, not, like I guess that's what you've seen. It's not a scary movie. Mm.
The conduits for a lot of the sort of positive vibes that you're referring to, I guess, are the two lead actors, Grégoire Ludig and David Marsais, who you worked with Grégoire previously, yes, and outside of this, they're a comedy duo, Palma Show, I believe. Could you talk a bit about your work with them and sort of finding this very specific, this very like precise but like silly dynamic that they have?
Yeah, again, very easily. Like I wrote the movie for them, so that's like this changed a lot, like the writing process, because when you know who you're writing for, like it's instantly working or not actually. And these two amazing characters are, like you mentioned, the name of their duo called the Le Palma Show. They make tons of like stupid sketches. They made 2 movies already. I think they've been doing sketches for like 20 years together. So there is like already like a beat between them. Like like they work. They're really good friends too, of course, and so they work together instantly. So it was, let's say, I don't want to say easy, because like I don't want to pretend that doing this is easy, but to project something stupid on both of them was easy, because they do this all the time. So they do this differently, like for short sketches online. They're really good at this, but then because they're so confident together and they work like so well together, actually it was a joy to write for them. And we basically, when we shot, every day was like, like we always find the right pace and everything on the set together, because they're obviously really nice, and they're not so how can I say, they're kind of close to their character in the movies. Like they're not as dumb as the characters, of course, but they're pretty similar. Like they like food, they like to switch from an idea to another. They're a bit like Manu and Jean-Gab in the movie.
Oh, are they always scheming in real life?
No.
Well, one actor in the film who's maybe it's more of a stretch for her to sort of get to these characters. Of course, Adele Exarchopoulos has a very memorable appearance in the film. A very unique character. I was wondering, and it's very against type for her too. I was wondering if you could just tell us a bit about how you, maybe first what attracted her to you for this role, and then sort of how you found this character together.
So honestly, I wrote the part for no one. I just had this idea of someone really like on top of everything, always yelling, like going through tons of emotions while she speaks. But I had no actress in mind, actually. So when we started producing the film, my producer, Hugo, suggested her. And I was like, I don't know, like I'm not really familiar with her work, to be honest. But because, she never did that kind of stuff, obviously, before. And because she was more into, very realistic movies. I was not really excited by the idea, to be honest. But then she accepted to do an audition with me. So I was like, oh, like if she's ready to do an audition, that must mean something, like, to her, because she's pretty well known, and she doesn't need to do auditions with a guy like me. So this attracted me first. Like I was like, she's pretty, it's a pretty exciting, actually. So and we did this short audition. Like we spent like an hour together with David Marsais, who plays Jean-Gab in the movie. And we started, like looking around, and she actually learned 5 pages, and she just, showed me some really great moves she had already. You know, like it was like the birth of the character, but everything was there already. So actually, she really impressed me. You know, like very quickly, I was super impressed because she was honest, like doing this. She was not pretending to be crazy, lunatic, and or too excited or whatever. She was actually living it like a kid. And this was like when I watched my my test with her, I always realized like everything was there already. Like she's absolutely like diving into this character without thinking. So she impressed me. So then, you know, like after this short audition, I of course decided to do the film with her. And on the set, it was simply amazing because she, like I said, she was living it. She was not really acting. She was diving, and you know, like but what's crazy is that sometimes she was able to memorize like 10 pages of dialogues, but still like playing with that level of craziness. She impressed everybody on the set. Like you know, like every day she was. It was pretty impressive to see her doing this character on the set. Mm-hmm. Then we worked on the pace. We worked on some, you know, like on the body language. We worked a lot. She worked a lot. But like I said, everything was there on the first day, like because she has the magic we needed for this.
I was hoping we could change gears a little bit, and maybe talk about the imagery, the images in the film. As I mentioned, you shot the film, of course. I was hoping you could tell us a bit about kind of the visual conception here. There are similarities to your other films, but there are also, you know, some differences. I'm especially interested in the kind of like economy of expression that you were talking about earlier, how lean and sort of crystalline the film seems. And I'm just wondering how you kind of get there through the imagery.
I mean, it's hard to describe because it's basically always the same process. I basically, when I start a movie, I start by looking for a lens. I don't want to use the same setup I used on the previous movie. So every time I go to a camera shop and I try some new lenses. So, you know, like old series of, you know, like vintage lenses and stuff. And this time I felt in love with one specific series of lenses. Then I decided, you know, I did some tests with this, and that's it. You know, like I went to shoot this movie with like 3 or 4 lenses only, because I thought they were amazing for this movie. I don't know why. It's, you know, like it's really like you know, a feeling thing. Like it's hard to describe. But then the way I capture this is pretty easy. Like basically, my main goal each time I make a movie, it's to basically let the actors be amazing. So that's why I'm not like moving the camera too much. That's why I'm not like editing too much. That's why I always prefer to shoot a dialogue, you know, with only 2 angles, maybe just one when it's possible, because I want to see the actors living. I want to see the actors in their own rhythm. And I hate when I see a comedy where everything is like chopped up and quick, and where you see like 10 different camera angles. To me, sometimes like it means nothing. It's like you're just watching some edited stuff, but you don't feel the actors or the characters. So I'm on every movie I make. That's the vibe. Like I'm just like, the goal is to find the best performance in the actors, and for this, camera has to be simple because Otherwise, if you start making crazy shots with a crane and a steady cam or whatever, then comedy and the actors are like basically the second layer. Then you need like 3 hours to work with a technician. I know it's amazing for some other movies, of course, but for what I'm trying to do, because it's based on characters and comedy, my vision is to find the best way to capture their performance.
Mm. So it sounds like much of the mise en scène and like the découpage is perhaps already there when when you begin filming. But I'm wondering, what, like, do you find that even with the relative simplicity of some of the things that you want to do with the camera, do you find that you make, like, you have, in the interest of capturing these performances, you make a lot of adjustments and so on?
Yeah, because then after this main thing, there's many other elements. Like I always try to find some magic in the way I frame these characters too. It's not like I'm just, I'm pretty like I'm fast finding an interesting angle, but this is important. Like I don't need much time to find where I'm going to use the camera, but still it's very important. Like when a frame doesn't have enough magic, suddenly I hate the movie, and suddenly I can't enjoy the performance of the actors. So it's a good mix between working a lot with the actors. Of course, that's the main thing I do on the set, and then I take like 5-10 minutes to find the perfect camera setup. Like it could be just a still frame, it could be like a smaller tracking shot, it could be anything, but this has to be quick because that's the way I need to be excited on my shoot, and what excites me is to shoot, not to wait. So that's why basically I'm happy with this very simple camera setups. I don't know if I answered the questions.
Yes, I believe you did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I also wanted to ask about the setting. It's especially in the United States, of course, we have like all sorts of like cliche notions of the kinds of places that you see in French films, and of course, I think you very deliberately kind of subvert that expectation. Could you tell us about where you've shot the film and maybe any kind of significance that it has for you? Yeah. Or maybe lack of significance. I don't know.
No, there is a lot, because like I said, when we started, I wanted to make a positive movie, and basically I went to the south of France because that's where I spent my holidays, and that's where a lot of French kids actually spend their holidays in the summer. It's basically like California, if you want to have an image in your head, but in the south of France. And of course, it's only hot and sunny during the summer. But it's a place we all know. Some scenes are shot in very like specific places that everybody know. Like it's just connected to so many memories and so many amazing French movies. From the 80s, the 70s. This Riviera, as you call it, we call it La Côte d'Azur. This place, like even if it changed a lot, it's of course like like it's looks different now, but still it has this magic. Like for every French people almost, this place has like the holiday magic that everybody loves. It's really something. Tons of movies have been shot there. And and it was the first time for me shooting there. And what's funny, it's like, maybe you know, I lived 7 years in LA, and I've shot few movies there. And basically, it looks very similar to LA. So maybe that's why I loved LA so much. It's because it reminded me this vibe in the south of France.
Yeah, something very like dusty and dry, but also like warm and yeah. I guess I also wanted to ask, you know, I think the film, like it evokes you know, other films or other traditions, you know, like buddy comedies of the 1990s, let's say, or you know, but I'm wondering if, like, for you, like, were there films that you were watching either during the writing or the shooting of the film that were on your mind, or is it not? Perhaps that's just not how your imagination works.
There's always a movie. I don't know why. For example, when I did Rubber, my tire movie, I had the first Spielberg movie in mind, Duel. I don't know how you say it. How you say
yeah.
it?
Duel, yeah.
This was like, you know, I was obsessed with few shots of this movie, and that's how I think that's how I did Rubber, thinking about, you know, making amazing things with nothing, basically. For this one, it's you can't really tell when you watch it, but I thought a lot about No Country for Old Men. You know, like, and what I love about this movie, it's first like the fact that there's no music at all, and this, you know, like basically I wanted to make a comedy like this, like a dry comedy with absolutely no music, like no score. Of course, you hear some music in the radio, but that's different. And you know, like this dry, it's hard to describe, but yes, I thought a lot about this one without watching it. I'm not saying I've been watching this movie like 10 times to steal from it, but the idea I had in mind, like my memory of this movie, helped me a lot for this one.
Yeah, and kind of on a related note, it's something I always like to ask about, and it's actually especially relevant because you're of course you're also a musician, and you do a lot of other things. Were there any like non-cinematic artworks that were on your mind? You know, whether it be music, literature. I mean, the giant fly motif is like obviously conjures Kafka, but you know, and maybe a little bit of the tone too. But I don't know. Was there any?
Yeah, maybe like, you know, like when I was pitching the movie to some partners, at some point to make it simple and to make them visualize the film, I was saying, okay, it's E.T. mixed with Dumb and Dumber, which is not the case, but this was the vibe, like, you know, like E.T. for this stupid, you know, like creature, like almost like, you know, like I'm a big lover of like the 80s monsters, you know, like monsters from movies from the 80s. So it was this, and actually you can see, like, because when we used a blanket on the fly, it looked like E.T. Like, it was like everybody was laughing on the set because he was like, oh look, it looks like the bike scene where E.T. is in the basket, whatever. So yes, you know, like it's not really, it was not the concept at all, but at some point I was pitching the movie and I was saying, yeah, Dumb and Dumber mixed with E.T. makes sense in a way. But that's it. No Country for Old Men was the guide for sure.
It's an amazing elevator pitch, though. Let's see. I guess, yeah, maybe we can start to conclude. You're an artist, I think, who likes to keep busy. You're quite prolific. I believe you're working on a new film now. I was wondering if you could tell us anything about it at this stage.
I finished editing the new one I've shot. It's impossible to talk about it, but the only thing I can say is that it's almost the reverse of this one. Like not the reverse, like the contrary. It's about a real, adult emotions, with a concept still that there's still like a little twist somewhere. But at the end, it's a movie about life and getting old and stuff like that. Voilà. That's the only thing I can say. It's very different from Mandibles.
Yeah.
And I'm writing 2 other new pieces also.
Yeah. Do you? I guess I'm always very interested in directors who are just working constantly, not spending 5-10 years like, working on the same sculpture, but like, actually putting work out. Do you find that helps you to keep your, reflexes sharp and so on?
I don't know. It's just the way I am. Like I would hate to work on the same sculpture for 5 years. Like honestly, I would hate it. Like I would, like get bored very quickly. It's really exciting to change, like to do this all the time and to keep on digging. And it's to me, it's more exciting like this. But then I understand some of the people who need like 5 years to create something big enough. I'm not like, that ambitious. Like I'm more into getting some joy right now while I'm alive, actually. Like that's, I don't want to wait. So I found my own pace, like making one movie every year, like even if it's still not enough to me, but that's, like that's how the system works. I can't really make more. Like, it's already a miracle that some people produce this kind of stuff still. So yes, that's how I feel good with this work I'm doing.
Actually, I think that might be a nice note for us to leave it on. So, Quentin, I just want to thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for the film. We're obviously anxious to see the next one, the more serious next one. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Dan. Bye.
Bye.